the breakup, I got a small black snake tattooed on my hip. That night, I dreamed of a serpent coiling around my arm. It transformed into a man with a lethal smile and a body carved from marble. In the haze of the dream, I called him husband. The next day, a high-level executive from the corporate headquarters was fast-tracked to our office. I froze the moment I saw him. His face was a perfect, terrifying match for the man in my dream. While the rest of the team buzzed with excitement, I kept my head down, my face burning as I joined the chorus of greetings. Welcome, Mr. Blackwood. Later that afternoon, he cornered me in the break room, a playful, knowing glint in his eyes. Not going to call me husband today? My ex, Harrison, was the golden boy of our university. When we graduated, I landed a steady job, but he said he wanted to pursue his master's. As his girlfriend, I did what any supportive partner would do. I stepped up. That support lasted 3 years. For 3 years, I was the sole breadwinner, paying for his life while he studied. Every time the exam results came out and he fell short of the cutoff, he'd complain about the unfairly high standards before looking at me with those puppy dog eyes, dripping with guilt. I'm so sorry, babe. I let you down again. Just give me one more chance. Looking at the shattered light in his eyes, I'd always remember him on the debate stage in college, ambitious, brilliant, untouchable. He used to say that a young man's dreams shouldn't be shackled by reality, that we had to fight the world to stay true to ourselves. Back then, he radiated a kind of energy that made me feel like anything was possible. That was the version of him I loved. So, I'd grit my teeth and nod. I can work a few more hours, I told myself. I can handle the stress. I lived a life of extreme frugality. I became the office martyr, taking every overtime shift and every thankless task, just to ensure he had a quiet, comfortable environment to study. Whenever he saw me coming home exhausted, he'd stroke my hair. Once I get into grad school, I'm going to make it all up to you. I'll give you the life you deserve. I wanted to believe him. I had fought so hard to get him in the first place. Back in college, I was the one chasing him, bringing him breakfast, running miles beside him at the gym, standing in the rain with an umbrella just to make sure he stayed dry. I loved every second of it. When he finally asked me to be his girlfriend on my birthday, I felt like I'd won the lottery. My roommates used to tease us, saying we were like a couple straight out of a romance novel. I believed them. I thought I was the heroine who had finally won over her cold, brilliant hero. But novels are smart. They end at the wedding or the grand confession. They stop before the credits roll on the mundane, soul-crushing reality of what comes after the happily ever after. In the 3rd year, he finally did it. He got into his dream program. The day he received his acceptance letter, I was genuinely ecstatic for him. I was beaming, my heart light for the first time in years. He looked at me and asked, "Are you just happy because you don't have to support me anymore?" I blinked, the smile faltering. I was happy because his dream had come true, not because of the money. Harrison saw my stunned expression and let out a sharp laugh. "Just kidding. Let's go get a steak." I tried to shake off the unease and forced a smile. Later, I realized that people often use just kidding as a shield for the truths they're finally brave enough to say. What followed wasn't the reward he'd promised. It was the slow fade, the cold shoulder, the emotional desert. Eventually, I couldn't take the silence anymore. I drove down to his campus and found him walking with a beautiful girl from his cohort, Bridget. He was leaning toward her, his expression softer and more attentive than he'd been with me in years. I confronted him, tears streaming down my face, asking if he'd moved on. Harrison just smiled, that same ambitious smile that used to inspire me, but now felt like ice. He told me to go back to work. My tears didn't move him. He was gentle, but it was the kind of gentleness a surgeon uses before an amputation. We just aren't on the same frequency anymore. Elena, you have to understand. When he was drowning, I was the life raft he clung to. He whispered sweet things to keep me paddling, but now that he'd reached the